Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be going over how to create estimates, also known as quotes, bids, or proposals. Before we can start, we have to answer a couple of questions first. What is an estimate, and when do we create an estimate? Now, I know most of you already know what an estimate is, but we're going to answer these questions anyway. An estimate is a document that offers to perform a specific job at a specific price within a certain period of time. We supply these to customers so they can do multiple things. One, they can compare our price to other contractors to ensure they get their most bang for their buck. Maybe they're thinking of going with us, but they already have their preferred contractor. So we provide an estimate. It helps keep other contractors honest, helps keep us honest. Second thing they can do is weigh the cost differences between different scopes, i.e., we can give them an estimate to repair the unit, or we can give them an estimate to replace the unit. They can see the cost difference. A lot of times, the cost difference is going to be pretty close to replace versus repair. And I'm not going to say every time, but the majority of the time, replacing with a brand new unit with warranty is going to be better than trying to repair a unit that you've had for a while. The last thing, if they can't order the work currently, it gives them a number to try and work into their next fiscal year's budget. We've had to do that numerous times where, hey, we want to get this done. We cannot do it, until next fiscal year. Give us a number so we can try to secure that number within our budget so we can get this to work. When do we create an estimate? All the time. Everything that doesn't fall within a typical service call where you show up and you got to replace a part here or a part there, you know, small parts, those require estimates to be approved by the customer. Even if you show up and a compressor on a chiller is bad, that requires an estimate. So we create estimates all the time. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into it. As you see before you, this is the estimates dashboard. Just like all the other dashboards, it has widgets above all of the current estimates that are out for that have been submitted or currently being estimated. Let's go through the widgets. This is your recent client responses. If you submit an estimate through the system here, once they respond, we will get a status where it says approved, declined. That's basically their two options. Here are our estimates pending approval. These are estimates that have been completed and submitted and sent to the customer, just waiting on the customer to get back to us. Here is our won and lost over the last month. Here's our won and lost this current month. We can do won and lost last year to this year. So down here is our estimates by status. We have multiple statuses for these estimates. You have expired, estimating. Estimating means you're currently working on them. Expired, that's pretty self explanatory. Submitted, that means it is out of our hands, sent to the customer pending approval. There's approved, that means the customer has received it, looked at it, liked it, approved it. That means we can go ahead and begin work. On hold, that means the customer has it, but some other things are in play, and they're like, hey, can you hold your number for a little bit longer than what was put on the estimate? Typically, estimates are good for 30 days. Lost, that just means that they got it, they did not like the number, so we lost it. There are templates. I have a ton of templates set up to kind of help speed estimate making along a lot quicker. And then there's completed. These are estimates that have been approved, turned into projects, and have been completed. estimates out for bid. This is where we actually have bid packs within our estimates. So if we have to have subcontractors and we want to send uh, an estimate out to multiple subcontractors within the same discipline, we can send what's called a bid package out and select numerous, let's say, electrical contractors. We could send it to numerous electrical contractors at the same time. That means it's out for bid to them. And then through the system, they can respond back saying it's going to cost us this much. Once they respond, we get this thing here called bid responses. All right, let's dive in and create an estimate. Go up here to the top right and just click New Estimate. I'm going to do our test customer. Your customer is always going to be the building. Just always put it as the building because whenever it comes down to invoicing, that's when you can select your person. But as far as your customer, there's multiple people that could be your customer. So let's say Western and use Student Life Foundation or Housing and Residence Life as it's known today. There are multiple people that work within HRL. Just choose the building. That way everything stays attached to that building and we can go back. Let's say in a year they call us and say, hey, you sent us an estimate for Pierce Ford Tower. Well, we don't have to go through and try to remember the name of the person who may no longer work there that we submitted that to. But if we save it to the building, we can come back and find it and then update it. I'm going to call this estimate training. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a 30-day expiration date. Whenever you select your customer, it will automatically put your customer's project address into the bottom. You can change it, but 9 times out of 10, your customer's project address is going to be where the work is happening, and that's what we want to know. Where is the work happening? And that will come into play later when we create a project. Project or opportunity. Typically, you're not going to have a project when you're creating an estimate. I would say 99.999,000% of the time, you're not going to have a project when you're creating an estimate. You may, however, have an opportunity. We will get into opportunities and what they are in a later video. Project type. Is it a PM agreement? Is it a change out, a new install, a repair? Is it a controls job? Is it a Generac job? Is it time and material? Or is it overhead? Or is it other? It may be other. I don't know what other could be, but it may be other. So we're going to select repair. Is it a commercial repair or residential repair? We're going to say commercial. Here's the differences. Commercial, residential allows client financing if we have it available. We do not have client financing available. Typically, we do not work in the residential sector. We do on a special case-by-case basis. The sector typically on our side will always be commercial. Project manager. Now, if you're creating an estimate for a job that you are estimating, you're going to be the project manager. If you are creating an estimate for somebody, they are your project manager. So let's say Ashley is creating a project or a estimate for Barry. She's going to be listed as the project manager. Ashley would need to come in and change the project manager to Barry. invoice to, if not the customer. There are times that happen quite often that we have a customer where the project is happening, the building that it is going to be tied to, and then we have a secondary customer. Who are we invoicing to? So Bluegrass Ingredients or Fitzgerald House, they get invoiced to Graph. So under contractors, they would be Graph Studios. Or let's say that it is still our customer, but now we want to put our specific person because this is the person that receives the invoices. Now we can go to our customer, same address, and select our person that comes in and receives all the invoices. You do not change approved by yet. The only time approved by will get changed is after the customer has been sent this. If they are sent it through the system, it will automatically select who it was approved by. If they are emailed a copy of a PDF, then you can come in and select who it was approved by. Is it going to be approved by the building, or is it going to be approved by a representative of the building? Status. Status you can leave alone. Estimating is where it will always start. And once you get this all filled out, I recommend you hit save. There's a project associated with this customer. Do you want to sign it now? Always click no. Just always click no. I am working with them to try to get this to go away. This is a nuisance. It needs to go away. Okay. That is the basis of creating the estimate. This is your fine details as far as what, who, and when it's going to be, when it's going to expire. With this expiration date here, once you've submitted it, it will automatically move itself to expired at 12 o'clock the day after, or the day of the expiration. So now we're going to go to items. This is where it gets a little funky. So there's numerous ways that you can do an estimate. Let's say that it's a service estimate, and I'm going to cheat. Okay, uh, here, let me do this. I'll pull a generator estimate first. These are my templates, and within the templates, you just select everything, and make sure if you're selecting your lines down here that you select delete existing section. But if you're bringing in the template, go ahead and select every single checkbox because the template was made all the way through. And you're going to import. And then you're going to click yes. Okay. Generator estimates are formatted this particular way because at the end of everything, whenever it becomes a project, this is how we do our line items for our invoices. And so I will show you how that all works on the project video. But a lot of times, small projects, you want to think about how is it going to be invoiced, and that's how you're going to kind of group things together. This only works on the small projects. But have no fear, there is a quick and easy way to find out what you need for invoicing on the big projects. But generator projects, generator estimates will always be estimated like this. Your generator will go under this line here, and then you will just simply copy the name and the model number of your generator, and you will paste it right here. So you will go import items from cost item database here. And I'm doing this because as being in charge of keeping the estimates and everything straight for the Generac cells, I constantly go through and update all of our pricing. I'll go to groups because I have a ton of Generac groups here. I could go right here, but this is every single generator and generator piece broken out. So I'm going to go to groups because I want to bring in a 26 kW generator with a transfer switch. So I can select my group, 26 kW, and it's air cooled with transfer switch. Save. Quantity 1, tax it, and finally, save. Now, whenever I go in my project later, once this gets approved, and bring this line item into my schedule of values, that line item will be called 7291 26 kW Guardian air cooled generator with 200 amp SE automatic transfer switch service entry. As you can see here underneath my template, I've already got a ton of material pulled in. These are our standard pieces of material. So in a typical estimate, I get it from Michael, and all I got to do is just go fill in the blanks. So just like double click and do 30 foot, 4, 2, 3, whatever, and just fill in the blanks. Every once in a while, I will need to bring in something that is not a standard in-house stock item. To do that, I hit this drop down. And if it's not a standard in-house stock item, I will add a manual estimate item. And I will call this 100 amp breaker. It's a material. I need one of them. The cost is, I don't even know off the top of my head, so I'm just going to put 72.86. Anytime we have a non-standard item like this, we need to get as much information as we can because we will need to find the correct part. Item unit, this is how you measure it. A breaker is measured by each. If it is conduit sold by the foot, then it will be LF for linear foot. This is each. If you're buying a lot of something, and I don't mean a lot as in a LOT mini, I mean a lot as in a package of something where like 30 comes in and it's a lot. Man, I wish I knew how to say lot. Anyway, that will be LS for lump sum. You can come down here and put your markup. Typically on our material, it's a 50% markup. Let's say that 109.29 isn't what you're wanting. You're wanting to sell this for 150. Well, just hit this little thing here. You do not have to play with your percentage. You can just hit that thing here. You want to sell it for 150? There you go, 150. Next is cost code. It's a material. Right now, we have material 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This will be changing. Hopefully, we'll be a little bit more specific on what material it is. But for now, I'm just going to select material 1. Description, 100 amp General Electric breaker. Okay, now collect tax on this item. Always select yes on equipment and material. If it is not equipment and material, it is non-taxable. Equipment and material are taxable. But if you get it quoted, make sure that your quote did not absorb the tax within the amount that they sent you. Sometimes you will get a quote saying, here is a lot that you're going to quote. Here is your number with freight and tax included. So always make sure if it is quoted material to verify if you need to do tax or not. In this case, with the generator stuff, it's always taxable, even if it is for someplace else. Just mark it as taxable. I will show you at the end if it's for like a hospital or a government building. I will show you at the end how to correct the tax there. Just go ahead and mark it taxable. Save and close. Installation labor package. Again, like I said, this is just for generators. We got Generac Matt Carroll. We have a number of 125 an hour for him. He is a subcontractor. Typically, it takes 10 hours. That's what we quote. Typically, it takes 20 hours of Henry and Michael. So that's what we quote. Factory startup. We standardized on 6 hours of factory startup. Electrical permits. It's 102.75, but they've been going up. We do charge a 508.27% markup because some permits, some inspectors require us to come back numerous times. So, Teddy Webb, he shows up once, checks off, we're good. The guy in Bowling Green comes in, he wants to come in 2 or 3 times. So we mark it up this much to help cover some of our cost of sending somebody back out there. Mileage, if we go 20 hours, which is 2 workdays, and then a factory startup, mileage is figured total from the shop to the job site and then back to the shop. Add 10% just to cover in case they need to go get some material from a supply house. So let's say it is 60 miles total from the shop to the residence or to the job site and then back. I would put 66 miles per day. We have 2 workdays here and a workday there. So that is 66 miles times 3 workdays, which would come out to be 198 miles. You can hit save. Again, always hit no. Terms and conditions, depending on the customer, depending on the estimate. This is where you can set up your terms and conditions. I will get into a little bit more of that once we change gears and go to a different type of estimate. Scope of work. This is the Generac scope of work. This is very specific to Generac and Generac only. I will get into more about how to generate a scope of work further as we go further into this section. Bidding. This is where I said you do your bid packages. So I'm going to create a bid pack called electrical install. And my bidding date will be there. I'm drafting it. I'm going to add an item. Now, so what you do is let's say I wanted to just subcontract out the electrical installation. First of all, I would definitely not have it be called Matt Carroll. I would call it something different. I would probably call it electrical, I'm horrible at thinking of names, installation generator ATS and save and close. So here on my bid packs, I don't even have to call it that. I can just call it electrical. I'm going to say it's due tomorrow. Give me one. Here, I want to give them a scope of work. So provide there's your scope of work. Items. Add an item. I'll come down here and find my electrical installation for generator and ATS. Save that. Terms and conditions. You can fill this out here. Files. If you have any documents that you want to include so your subcontractors can bid appropriately, this is where you would put your files. And here, this is where you add your bidders. So you can go through and you know search electric, or if you know your electric, you got like Carol. Oh no, ATEX in there as a customer. I gotta get them in there or something else. Uh, but yeah, you would go through and select your contractors that do your electric, the ones that you work by. So there's that. I need to label Carol as an electrical company. But yeah, you can search by service and just fill it out. Save. Okay. And now you save. I am not going to change this to submitted because once I change it to submitted, it will actually email everything I've included within this bid package to my bidders. So I'm going to go ahead and delete my bidders. But that is how you work a bid package. Now I'm going to go ahead and change it to submitted. Oh, I can't because there's no bidders. Here. I'm just going to do Derek Conley Electric. One thing I do need to do, because I did not do this, is within Derek Conley Electric, I need to go ahead and put an email. Okay. So I'm going to save. I'm going to send the invitation to bid. I'm going to say it's submitted. Oh, sorry. There we go. And so now I've sent the invitation to bid. I forgot. You got to save before you can. Files. This is where you upload any and all files, pictures, PDFs, anything that you use to create your estimate. Cover sheets, a lot of times they're not going to have cover sheets. Right now, the only things that we have that use cover sheets are Generac estimates. The cover sheet looks like this. Automatically populates with all the information. We also have a PM agreement cover sheet that looks like this. Automatically populates with all this information. And custom, we do not have any custom lines at this time. Now, with that being said, we're going to go back here to the installation labor package. Matt has it quoted at $125 an hour for 10 hours. I get an email that looks like this. Bidder, Derek Conley Electric, bid due on this date at this time. Project, there is no project as of yet. You could put an opportunity, and this is why you would put an opportunity, because then they could see the name of the project. Bid package, electrical. Estimate name, whatever you named your estimate, and this is our estimate number. You are being invited to bid on the project mentioned above. Please click bid details, and this is what you see. Provide all labor. Any attachments you have will be sent along with it. So let's close this. Let's go back to bidding. Come in here. I forgot. Let me hit my eyeball. Let me draft it. And let me add these. Upload. Okay. And I want to send invitation to bid again. Now I have bid attachments. Like I said, this can work with PDFs, photos, any type of Microsoft document can be uploaded, except for Visio. Matt's got it at 125 an hour. I don't know that, but I'm going to say yes, I'll submit a bid. Come back in here, hit my eyeball. Will submit. Yes. If I go to my bid manager, I can now see my estimates out for bid here. Bid packages. Bidder, I have as me. Typically, you want to put the company photo, company logo. That way you can quickly know who it is. Will submit. Yes. Also, this should show out right here. Yep. Bidder, DE, Derek Conley Electric. Will submit. Yes. So now I'm going to submit my bid for $100 an hour. I could save and continue later, but I don't need to. Pictures were enough. I feel confident. I'm going to save and submit finalized bid. After doing so, you cannot make changes, so you better make sure this is what you want to do. If you have any notes, right here, make it for the bid manager. Based on the 5 photos attached. Send. Now I'll come back into here. I get an email that says, right here, this is what I've submitted. Thank you. And it's an automatic email coming from my email. Now we're going to go in here and see any submissions. And here you get to see it in review. To review it, hit your pencil, go to your notepad. Well, that price is definitely better than Matt's price. So I'm going to go award it. Would you like to apply the bid price here? I'm going to say no for now. Maybe their price is too good. I'm going to send them a thing that says rebid it. Maybe there was a change that happened right as I received their bid, and I've just uploaded the files. I'm going to send it to them to rebid. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, award it, and click yes. Save. Would you like to send an email to the winning bidder as well as those who lost the bid? This is basically just a courtesy. We went with your bid. I'm not going to send that. I'm not going to junk up my Gmail. But now I'm going to come over here and look. Automatically has populated my unit cost and has assigned it to Derek Conley Electric because that is the bid that I went with. Now, let's look at a couple of different types of estimates. I'm going to delete a bunch of sections. Because here's how I'm going to cheat. I've went ahead and downloaded some CSV files. But this is a typical PM agreement layout. You'll want to do it in quarters. That way you can kind of keep up with what's going to happen in the summer, what's going to happen in the fall, what's going to happen in the winter, what's going to happen in the spring. Now, with that being said, we give them a total and we always divide it by however many trips we're going to take. So if it's done in quarters, we take 4 trips. That's always kind of customer specific. So this would not help with invoicing, but you can take that number there, divide it by 4, and once I get to the project portion of our training in a later video, I will show you how to break this out. I'm going to now delete a bunch of sections. Anytime you go to pull in a CSV, go ahead and just start deleting sections because it does not automatically delete them for you. I'm now going to pull in a service estimate. I'm now going to Oh, I know why. I know why. So typically in a service estimate, and I will go and find a better one. Typically in a service estimate, dang, here I'll build the sections. We've got four sections, and they are laid out exactly like this. And that is for invoicing. Because when we go to invoice a service estimate or a service project, customers want to see how much we spend on equipment, how much we spend on the material, how much we spend on labor, and how much we spend on subcontract. I'll go ahead and show you. Let's say that this was a service estimate for a government building, which is tax free. First things first, I'm going to go in, make sure tax is selected. So as you can see, we have $31.58. Like I said, for equipment and material, just always make sure your tax is selected unless your quote says otherwise. But now let's say it is tax exempt. Just select that, save. Now you're at zero. All right, I'm going to delete these sections and I'm going to bring in one more type. And this one's going to be a doozy. So bear with me. Import. All right. Like I said, this one is freaking massive. Sometimes the job is huge and you just cannot lay it out well for invoicing. That's fine because once we move on to the project creation part, I will show you how to make this easy for invoicing. But sometimes you just have to break it out the way it makes sense for you. We have mechanical cooling tower demolition, mechanical makeup air unit demolition, electrical cooling tower demolition, electrical makeup air unit demolition. I mean, we've got this thing broken out pretty specific to what is going on. And within each, we've got hours and material, hours and material, hours and material. Sometimes you're going to have to do it that way. That's okay. Not all is lost. But when you're done, come up here, and depending on your estimate, and depending on who you are, you may have a template already made for you. If it's a Generac project, you'll click Generac proposal. Michael's the only one that has a Generac proposal for him. And it comes out just like this, just how our Generac proposals do. If you're Barry, you're going to have a few different types. This is going to be your main one. Now I got to get rid of that cover sheet. Well, cover sheet didn't go away. That's okay. Oh, I know. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. create a new one. I'm not going to worry about going through the rest of this stuff at this time. Here's how it comes out. Now, you're not going to want it to come out that way. So, if you have to break it down like this, here is what you have to do. Come up to your three dots, export items to CSV. And this is after you are completely done. You'll go into your Excel file. After you are completely done with everything, you're going to want to call this base bid. Just grab the box, drag it all the way down, and save it. I want you to remember that. We're going to go through and delete a whole bunch of sections. And I know this video is kind of long. There's just so much to do within the estimates module. Of all the things that you can do to make a project go wrong, it starts within this estimates module. Okay, now I'm going to pull that file back in that I just made base bid. I'm going to import. And I'm going to delete my last section. Now everything is under base bid. Base bid. There you go. That's important. That is an important piece because sometimes you're going to get a project. I'll show you. Sometimes you're going to get a project that has alternates. So I have pulled everything in that I already had in. I'm going to export these files to a CSV. Now I can see my base bid. All this here is covered under the base bid. I'm going to say all of this here is covered underneath something called alternate number 1. And I'm going to make all of this alternate number 1. That's because whenever we got the scope sent to us to bid off of, they had, here's what we want, but we also want to know how much it would cost to do it this way. That's what an alternate is. Either do it this way or to add certain things. It's just an alternate from the base scope. So anything that you get to add that is not from the base scope will be identified within the drawings and specifications as an alternate and then a number. So whenever you're bidding this stuff, make sure you bid it to where you can tell the difference, because this is the only way you're going to get them to show up correctly on your estimate. All right, that ain't it. I'll just go back to this. Base bid, this much. Alternate one, this much. Now they're going to be the same because I literally just pulled it in, and then you have a total. Then you can submit for approval. Make sure I got my expiration date. It is a repair, commercial, Barry's the PM. Let me invoice the Barry as well. Different Barry. Now I'm going to submit for approval. And I'm going to submit using this proposal. Here's where you can customize that email that gets sent to them a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and submit for approval. Submit now. Now I have this email. Click that button. I now have this estimate. Like I said, if you click to approve here, it will tell you who accepted it. And it's just saying Barry because that's the only email that I put in. Okay. I know that was a lot to cover for one module. Luckily, you get to go back, rewind. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And I'll catch y'all on the next one.